So my first job out of college was working at the front desk for a Marriott hotel about 20 minutes outside of the Fort Lauderdale airport. And this isn't like the fun 20-minute Fort Lauderdale. This is like the other side Fort Lauderdale. Think more like Monday to Friday business travelers and less spring breakers falling asleep in the hallways. That kind of a Marriott. So Marriott hotels operate on this ranking system, and at the time there were like 300 and something Marriotts, and this one was about 200 and something. So not very good. And so the big thing that was pressed upon us as front desk agents was guest service satisfaction. Because all of the rankings deal with like TripAdvisor comments and guest satisfaction surveys, and so your main goal was to make sure that the guests had a good, uneventful stay. I had been working there for probably about a year, and I really liked hospitality, so I decided that I was gonna meet with my general manager, who was this middle-aged, overly tanned man named Nabil. And I sit down in front of Nabil and I say, Nabil, I've been here for about a year, I have my bachelor's degree, I'm working at the front desk, and you know what, I really like hospitality, and I'm thinking about pursuing a career here. I wanna be management track. What do you recommend for me? And without missing a beat, and without looking up, he said, take more initiative and wear more makeup. So, well, I was 22 at the time, and I didn't really know to be insulted by this, and furthermore, I didn't really know what kind of work atmosphere, that kind of attitude takes on an environment. So all I knew how to do was react. So I spent half my paycheck at the Mac counter, and I also volunteered to cover a night auditor who was leaving on maternity leave. And I really liked the night audit shift. It was the overnight shift, so I came in at 11 and I left at 8 in the morning. And because of the nature of our clientele, it wasn't really busy overnight, so it was just me, a housekeeper, and a security guard. And I was supposed to stay at the desk all night. And that was to answer phone calls or guests who come to the desk, or to reconcile all the checks for the day and close business and open business for the next day. It was pretty straightforward. If a call were to come in, I was supposed to go to the housekeeper first, and if they were busy, then I would go to the security guard, because again, I wasn't supposed to leave the desk. So this particular night, it's probably about 4:30 in the morning, and the housekeeper calls me and says, hey, I'm going on break. Okay, great. So naturally, I get a call about 2 minutes later from a guest on the 5th floor who needs an iron. So I call the security guard and I say, hey, Larry, can you go up to 513? They need an iron. He said, yeah, sure, no problem, and he leaves his office. About 5 minutes later, I get another call from the 8th floor landing. That basically means that the phone was not in somebody's room, it was just like on the elevator floor. So I pick up the call, and it's a guy, and he says, hey, I got locked out of my room coming back from the gym. I need somebody to let me in my room. I'm alone at the desk, and I dispatch the security guard already. I look up the guy's reservation real quick, and he's one of these guys that's there every week. So I get on the phone, I say, oh, well, I'll send my security up. And he cuts me off, and he says, no, just get up here with a goddamn key, and hangs up the phone. So I want to be manager track. I want to have this promotion in my future. And I'm like, okay, it's going to take me 3 minutes. I'll just make the key and I'll run upstairs. So I do. I make the key to the 8th floor room and I go upstairs, and the hotel's H-shaped, so the elevators are in the center. I round the corner, and he's about 20 feet in front of me, standing there, naked. Now my body moves a lot faster than my brain, and I just stop. And my brain is trying to take in the situation. And there's the security guard 3 floors down, there's a housekeeper in the cafeteria, and if this man, who doesn't look embarrassed or ashamed, decides to attack me, then this is something that I'm gonna have to survive. And I'm standing here and I'm processing all of this when he smiles and leans forward to step closer to me. And my first reaction is to put my hand up and stop him. And he stops, but he smiles. And I'm terrified. And I'm doing the math in my head, and I'm saying, okay, I need to go to the elevator so I can get back downstairs, but if I wait for the elevators, he might come at me, and I don't know what I'm doing. And then I realize that I have his key in my hand, and I have to give him his key so he can get into his room, and it's 4:30 in the morning, and everybody's asleep, and I'm by myself. And so what I do is I kind of lean down, and I toss my key towards him, but I'm terrified, and I'm maintaining eye contact because I'm scared that if I look away, he's going to come at me, but he's smiling, and it's terrifying. And so I'm looking and trying to find the stairway door, and I find it, and I open it, and then I'm flying down 8 flights of stairs, and I feel like he's behind me, and I feel like I'm gonna fall, and suddenly I crash through the lobby entrance like if I'm breaking through a surface of water, and I dive behind the front desk and into the back office, and I'm up against the wall, and I do an inventory, and I'm alone. And I'm okay, even though in my brain I'm running through all of the different scenarios in a parallel universe of what could have happened had he grabbed me, had I not found the stairway door. And as I'm doing this inventory, I realize something. I don't feel violated. I don't feel victimized. I don't feel harassed. What I feel is responsible because I broke protocol, and maybe this was my consequence. And I knew in that moment that if I went to my manager and told them this story, that I would get reprimanded. So I never told anyone. And I never broke protocol, but I also never felt safe at work again. Thank you.